I know, chasing that dough, hitting that road, getting that money, man. All I know, loading that foe, kicking down doors, getting that money, man. We gon' make it money. We gon' take it grizzly. We gon' make it money. We gon' take it grizzly.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Teofimo Lopez overrated? So, of course, after the loss, Teofimo Lopez nemesis, Devin Haney took to Twitter to make a comment. And what Devin Haney said was, I hope it all makes sense now. Teo was a effing fraud. That's what he had to say. So I'm going to turn it over to Trill Dollar Bill. What's your reaction? Is Teofimo Lopez overrated or fraud?
No. All great fighters have a bad day in the office. You gonna call Lennox Lewis a fraud because he got clipped by Rockman? No.
Call.
Yes, exactly. You gonna call him a fraud? No, you're not gonna do that. You know, Floyd got rocked hard by Sugar Shane Mosley. He was on wobbly lip.
You got rocked by Madonna too.
Got rocked by Madonna too. You know, you gonna call these guys for no bad day in the office? Things happen. You know, you bounce back like Lennox did in the rematch, and like Floyd did after he collected that data against Shane. I think Teofimo Lopez will bounce back. He just got to learn to respect his opponent more and respect boxing. If you don't respect this sport, it will disrespect you. You know,
Sure.
And it's funny. Like Lopez, I was in my conspiracy trail. Let me hold this, G, if you don't mind. I was in my conspiracy trail, and I was just saying, like, hey, listen, Lopez had a lot against him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't score the fight. I was just going off of eyes, and I was like, man, this was
an egg.
You know, and I was like, this is a draw, right? And then when after the decision was read, and I seen Teofimo Lopez looking at Eddie like this, I started laughing. I said, Eddie, Eddie did it. Eddie ran to the judges. He said, any close round, you give it to Cambosis. Devin Haney for undisputed. He got all the belts over there, you know. So he got his fighters. He gonna set it up. The zone gonna do it big, you know. So that's what I was thinking about over there. But is Teofimo Lopez overrated? Nah, I don't think he's overrated. We see what he did with Lomachenko. We see what he did with Richie Coolmade. He's bad day in the office. This happened with the greats. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali done lost and then bounced back and beat guys, you know, who done beat him, you know, Spanks and others, you know, it happens. You know, you see what happened with Ray of Fraud against Duran, you know, the first fight. No, you know, so no, I don't think he's overrated. I just think it was a bad day at the office, and get back to the drawing board. Get back to the drawing board.
All right, Conspiracy G.
I agree 1000% with Trill. You know what I mean? And it makes sense to me, man. Walking through it, I'm like, Eddie. But on a side note, actually, man, I'm growing to love Eddie a lot. From the way you know me,
my, how things have changed. Hey, when you first started this show, True, you remember?
Hold on. Y'all gotta walk me.
Go ahead.
Let's fuck number one today.
Hold on, and I gotta explain. Well, he actually makes boxing look exciting. Like the ambiance, the graphics, the effects, everything looks like,
Eddie's the guy.
Like, yo, you want to be there. I click over to Showtime. I'm like, damn, no disrespect to PBC, but yo, it was real basic. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's putting more excitement into boxing. So I give him that credit. But back to Teofimo. Is Teofimo overrated? I'm gonna say no. Is Teofimo a victim of karma? I would say yes. Because it's funny when Caden was talking about, you know, scoring, and I was like, damn, was I doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like after a while, you begin to like the underdog, and you're like, oh, he's doing way better than I expected. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of it. That's one thing about it. And also too, man, like Lopez, you know, this is kind of crazy because I was also the guy that was like, Lopez, don't give no Lomachenko no rematch. You know what I'm saying? But now when I think about it, I'm like, damn, bro, you refuse to give Loma a rematch in a close fight. Now you were in a close fight with a mandatory who's now not gonna give you a rematch. Yo, that's a big slice of karma that he got to eat right now. You know, so T.O., man, you're gonna be all right. You know, yeah, it's unfortunate, man. It's really unfortunate, you know. So, but it is what it is, man. Listen, undisputed, Devin Haney. Let's get it, baby. You know what I mean? That's another reason why I'm rocking with Eddie on this one. So,
all right.
Eddie.
First, I like to say I like how. First, I like to say this. I like how fallen angels regain their wings back in G's eyes. But you know. you know.
Boo.
Whatever, it went over. But you know,
deep, man, that was deep.
It was deep. it was deep. But yo, Teofimo, I feel he's not overrated, but he overrated himself. And when we saw everything. When we saw everything that led up to this fight, when we saw everything that led up to this fight, he went into the purse bid. And how many times this fight got rescheduled? The thing was, in his first title defense, he got so hyped up about how he should be compensated for this fight that it led this fight over a year. Like it was supposed to happen, I don't know, back early 2021, late 2020, early 2021, all the way to the end of 2021. And you could say interview like we had. There was a clip we played a couple weeks ago where he was talking to Eddie, and he was like, "I paid for the fight with Devin," and that showed you he wasn't. What he prioritized was not training for this fight. He didn't care about his opponent. He thought his opponent was a wash. Like I said before, walk in the park, and this is where you gotta.
Definitely.
And here on the Boxing Bros, we have a quote that is, "Come humble to leave humbled," and he wasn't humbled and he left. Humbled as a mother effer. You hear me? So, Tio, this is a valuable lesson you learn. Never look at any of your opponents. If you're gonna take this boxing game serious, take it very serious. Because at any moment, karma can come back to you. And that's all I gotta say.
Shout out to Eddie once again, because he don't have to pay that much for that fight now.
Right.
Eddie came up.
You get Devin the bill, he don't have to pay that much. You get a discount, Eddie.
Yo, Bob's not having a good year, man. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying?
Eddie just recovered though, because Eddie wasn't having. Eddie done lost a few. Eddie just recovered though. He just recouped, and yeah, Bob isn't having a good year because Bob could have just paid for this. And I know Ned was saying this. That same fight on ESPN with ESPN judges, Tio and Still. But is he overrated? Obviously not, man. You know, people got to stop it. He beat Richard Comey. He knocked him out. And he really did pull off a close fight with Vasily Lomachenko. I scored it for him. I thought he needed the 12 to win. He got the 12. He won the fight on my card. So those are two marquee victories. Those are two legitimate victories. When it comes to Teofimo Lopez, and I think one of you said it, he had everything stacked against him. He had everything stacked against him and then some, which is no excuse because you still got to perform. He still chose to step in the ring. So you know my motto. Once you step in the ring, I don't want to hear it. Like when Earl Spence chose Danny Garcia for his first fight back after the car accident, and people were like, oh, if Danny wins, they're going to say it's because of the car accident. I said, I don't want to hear it. If you step in with Danny, you picked him. If he beats you, it's on you. And same with Tio. You got all these things going against you. So check it out. Tio, this fight was rescheduled about 8 times. Y'all remember we were doing that. Oh, it's on this date. Oh, no, it's on this date. Now it's on this date. Multiple venues. I think it was about 6 different venues, five different venues. Teofimo Lopez said he spent over $250,000 on this training camp. And at one point they were saying he only had $20,000 in his bank account as a result of all this. In addition to that, this is well documented, his issues with his family, because he married a woman who his family doesn't approve of. And so he had issues with his family, but he and his dad were able to reconcile, and his dad's back in his corner. And if you notice, prior to this, his toughest fight was with Nakatani. And his struggles were due to his issues with his family. And that had resurfaced again. And then you look at the fact that now he's fighting ferocious Kambosos with a lot of inactivity. He's been inactive. He hasn't fought since his victory over Vasily Lomachenko. With all this going on, in addition to the fact that he struggles to make 135 pounds. And Kambosos knew it too. He called it out. So I know he's struggling to make the weight. I get him into the later rounds. I got him. So these are all well documented issues. So he steps in the ring with all of this, and he doesn't look his best. Now, I'm not excusing it, and I'm not taking anything away from Kambosos, because Kambosos had to dig deep. He had to do what he had to do to win that fight. But what I'm saying about Teofimo Lopez is that can weigh on you. That can impact performance. So to say he's overrated, you know, with all that happened with this fight, I just don't think it's fair. You look at Anthony Joshua, for example, and he was scheduled to fight Big Baby Miller. You look at the build-up, Big Baby Miller pushing him, and he had it in his mind he's fighting Big Baby Miller. Last-minute replacement, Andy Ruiz, and he loses.
From a DM.
The DM, that Andy Ruiz slid in them DMs, and it paid off. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so you got that. Even look at his loss to Usyk, and again, I'm not taking anything away from Usyk, because Usyk put on a masterclass. Usyk is a hell of a fighter. We all know that. But again, it was after the Undisputed fell out with Tyson Fury, and now he's going to do his mandatory with Usyk. And Teofimo Lopez said this. He said, I could have just became Undisputed and dropped all the belts like everyone else does and move on. But I wanted to defend. You know, of course, there'll be some counters to that. Like, there are people out there like G who believe you can't be undisputed if there's a dispute between whether or not you're the WBC champion. And I understand that, and I respect that. He's labeled as undisputed because they called, because WBC gave it to him. So for me, I think everyone should just fight each other anyway. But the point is, you still had the belts, you chose to defend it, and you lost. So I'll just close by saying this. He's not overrated. He has 2 of the best victories of anyone in the lightweight division, and that's Richard Comey, and that's Vasily Lomachenko, and those 2 brothers are fighting each other on December 11th, so we'll see what happens in that fight. They're going to be players moving forward, and he had a lot of things going on, like financially, family-wise, just had a child. All these factors are playing in, and that could have impacted his performance as well.
And COVID. He had COVID too.
And he had COVID, but G's not buying it. Look, hey,
no.
At this point, I don't know. You know, I'm not speaking on it, but he had COVID. My point is there are a lot of factors that could have played a part in us not seeing the best Teofimo Lopez. The corner also added into that, but we're gonna get into that a little later. Go ahead, G.
I think the number one issue was he was emotional. You know what I mean? For this,
we gonna get in that too.
Number one, that's why his performance is so poor. He was fighting with his heart, not with his mind. You know what I mean?
But he's not overrated. That's my take.
Yeah, not overrated. Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe, and check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. And for your listening pleasure, The Brothers EP is out now. We are the Boxing Brothers.